Today's live stream is brought to you by Cybersecurity.it. If you guys are looking for some amazing online IT training, I would definitely check out Cybersecurity. Make sure you check out our guest hosts courses, Ken UnderHill. He does some amazing courses over there. No problem. What's going on, Mr. Ken UnderHill? How you doing today, boss? All right. Yeah, we're getting there. I'll be there in probably like 10 years, but better late than never, right? It'll be all good. So today I wanted to bring you on and talk about Black Hat because we'll both be there, which is really exciting. And I just want to kind of get a feel from you what you're going to be doing over there, what you're looking forward to out of this convention, and just chat. So what you going to be doing over there? Yes. Hey, hang on one sec, Ken. They're saying I got no audio for you. Desktop audio is good. I'm not sure why it's... Go ahead and talk for me, Ken.
Yep. Can you hear me? Well, you can hear me, but can they hear me?
I can hear you. It looks like they'll be able to hear you now.
All right, cool.
They should be good. All right, so yeah, I asked what you're going to be doing over there. So what are you going to be doing there?
We hope they can hear us this time. If not, just let us know in the chat if you just see my lips moving. So yeah, I'm going to be interviewing Gabby, who's actually someone that's gone from just being, working as a mechanic all the way through training on the platform, all the way through getting her first job. Now she's an instructor. She does a lot of other things in the community as well. So she's kind of gone from, we'd like to say 0 to hero, in just about a year or so. So definitely, I'm going to chat with her a bit. I'm going to be wandering around a little bit, trying to connect with some people. Cybersecurity, by the way, if you don't know, is at booth 1265. So definitely check us out. I'll let everyone know once I've kind of finalized things. I'll let you know via LinkedIn where I'm going to exactly be at, like when I'm going to be at the booth, when I'm going to be, which presentations I'll be looking at. So you can track me down. Hopefully there's no stalkers out there to track me down. But for everybody else, I'll be around there. So yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to going. It's actually my first Black Hat that I'll ever be going to. So
that's exciting.
Definitely excited. Heard some good things about it. A lot of people I know are going. So definitely looking to connect with students, connect with some of our instructors, TAs, just random people from the industry. So yeah, just my biggest thing there is just kind of networking, meeting people. So if you see me, don't be shy. Come on up, say hi.
I will definitely be doing that.
Nice, yeah.
I'm gonna do an interview live in person with you.
Oh man, awesome. The pressure is on. The pressure's on.
So this is exciting for you. It's your first Black Hat. This will be my second one, but
okay.
Yeah, last year was a great time. There's so many people there, so many nerds, which is great. But it's a great community. Everybody was so nice there. When I was kind of walking around talking with people, I think that's one of the best things that I've kind of seen about the cybersecurity world, or just that side of the field in general. That everybody's pretty welcoming and accepting towards people who are just starting out, or just other professionals who are trying to learn more. And I think that's one of the big takeaways that I always get from these types of conferences, and especially Black Hat. And I think many people kind of get discouraged, or maybe think like, Black Hat's not going to be for me. I'm not anything yet. I'm nobody, right? And the reality is, like, there's so many different sessions that they're having there that speak towards everybody. There's so much knowledge that you can get there. And you brought up networking, and I think that's a huge aspect of these conferences. So that's something I'm looking forward to also. But I want people to know that it's for everybody, right? Just like IT, it's for everybody.
Yeah, come on in. Yeah, we're not. It doesn't matter what you're doing right now in your current job. If you're able to make the conference, definitely come on out, meet people. I mean, it's one of the best ways to learn. As we kind of talked about networking, one of the best ways to learn is actually to get in there, listen to experienced people, ask them questions, let them, give you the feedback, give you the kind of the real scoop on the industry. And I think that a lot of times, if you don't immerse yourself in that environment, you're really lacking when you try to go get jobs and that sort of stuff. So definitely, yeah, if you can make it to Black Hat or any conference in your area, I definitely recommend you do it.
Or any meetup too. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
meetups in people's
anything. Yeah,
areas where you guys can just connect with other people who are doing the same thing as you, or different things as you that you can gain a lot of knowledge from. So
yeah,
definitely,
and we in particular in the cybersecurity industry, we love to geek out together. So we welcome you with open arms into the geeky world.
yeah, that's true. So, what are you working on right now with cyber? Any fun courses that you're going to be putting out here soon?
We have some collaborations. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
I don't know that I can officially say anything yet. So we do have some collaborations with multiple instructors involved. So
Awesome.
it was definitely some fun projects, and we're just kind of wrapping up the final stages of that before the conference.
Awesome. Are those going to be announced at the conference then, or?
Yes.
Awesome.
We're and possibly shortly before, but definitely at the conference we're bringing those up along with some other things we have going on.
Awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Is there anything else about Black Hat that you're kind of looking forward to?
Well, I'm not necessarily a big like ICS SCADA guy. That's not really my background, but I noticed some presentations, so I'm gonna do my best to check those out and just kind of get a little more knowledge on it. I've got some good friends in that part of the industry, but it's definitely an interest area of mine. So
awesome. Cool. All right. I was just looking at the chat here real quick, but
yeah.
People love to hear advice about getting into cyber, and we've chatted before, we've done a live stream before, but things change constantly. Is there anything that you have noticed lately that you think could help somebody get into the world of cybersecurity?
So one of the things probably recently, a lot of people have kind of asked for help resume-wise, and they're not coming from an actual cybersecurity industry-related role. So I would say in that context, think more high level, because a lot of times the job that you've done has some aspect of security in it, whether it's securing data, like as an example, a nurse. I recently retired as a nurse, but as a nurse, instead of taking blood and putting that on your resume, because, Zach and I are scared of needles, put down instead that, hey, I secured patient data, right? And talk about the process you used to make sure that you were using a privacy filter on your monitor. So, just something like that.
Yeah.
Talk about those aspects that are security related and not, some boring aspect of your job or even exciting aspect, but try to relate everything you're doing right now to security. Even as a McDonald's person, right? Even working at McDonald's right now, you can find a way to, like you've secured customer credit card data by not showing the credit card, to everyone else in the line, right? It's a little corny, but that at least gives you some kind of correlation there. So, just sometimes you have to reach, but that's probably the best advice lately that I've been working with people on is just figuring out how to make your resume sound more security conscious as opposed to what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and if you worked in healthcare, make sure you put on there that you are understanding compliant of HIPAA, and make sure you spell HIPAA right, because that's a important one.
Yeah, please do. I actually think I mentioned that in the course I put out recently on HIPAA. So
that's funny.
So if you don't know, if you're working in healthcare and you have no clue what HIPAA is, still definitely go on Cyber and check that course out.
If you're working in healthcare and you don't know what HIPAA is, the governance team there is doing a pretty terrible job.
I tell you what, you'd be surprised. You'd also be surprised. We talked about the misspelling of the acronym there, but so many doctors and nurses I encountered over the years misspelled it. So
that's a common one.
Yeah,
it's common. Hey, what's your advice for BT Tech? Oh, I don't get that one. BT Tech, cybersecurity. Oh, somebody was asking you a question, but they need to clarify a little bit more on that.
Yeah, can you clarify? Yeah, we're not. I'm not sure what that is either.
Yeah. Do you have the chat up on your computer there?
No, let me.
Oh man, you're failing on me. Bro.
Rookie mistake. Let me go to your channel there and see. I think last time I had to pull it up separately though.
Yeah, probably. That's all good. No, but that's actually great advice. Resume. I've been getting tons of questions about resume help lately too. So that seems to be like the hot topic right now.
Yeah, and one thing on that, kind of going back to what Zach and I were talking about networking, like your resume is nice, right? But like, if you don't actually have like certifications, degree, experience, anything that's going to get through that robot filter that HR departments are using, and you don't have like actual a significant amount of skills, then networking is your key. Networking is your way into the industry, and it may not be, you may not write out, like one of the biggest things I get is, I want to be a penetration tester. Well, that is
Shocker.
not reality if you have no experience in IT or anything, and you have no degrees, no certs, none of that stuff. And again, a certification, a degree, that's not a guarantee. But if you have like no experience at all and you just want to be a pen tester because you noticed it was cool on a movie, number one, it's not that cool, and number two, at least my perspective, it's not that cool. It's a lot of paperwork, and number two, it's very, very difficult to get some of those jobs going straight into the industry. So I always tell people, like, think outside the box. Kirsten Brazier, I don't know if you know her or not. She's a big security expert in Texas, and she's actually got a book targeted for women trying to get into the industry or advance their careers. But that book is applicable for everyone, because one of the things she mentions in there is, like, think outside the box on job postings, right? So instead of you focusing on, like, I want to be an analyst, or I want to be a pen tester, or I want to be, a security engineer or whatever, focus on what company you want to work for, right? So if I wanted to, what does say Cyber, right? If I want to work at Cyber, let me go look at the job postings they have, and maybe there's nothing directly related to security, but maybe there's a job posting there that I do qualify for, and that's my in to the company. And then from there, I can say, hey, I'm interested more in the security side of things. And as I'm showing them I'm good in like project management or business analyst or whatever, then from there I can incorporate security things in that role and eventually pivot, because I've already proven myself skill wise and
Mm,
work ethic wise. So don't limit yourself to a specific job title, is kind of what I'm trying to say there. Don't limit yourself to, like, I can only work a cybersecurity job. Try to just get into a company, get your foot in the door, because you have to think a higher level, because there's a lot of job roles that, like, if you just look at the title, you'd be like, there's no way that's security related, right? But in reality, probably a majority of the job, once you get in it, is related to security in some capacity, securing data or whatever, or we talked about compliance a little bit with the HIPAA stuff, so like PCI DSS or whatever. You maybe, a lot of times you're related to those things in your job role, but you just don't have the official title of, SOC analyst or pen tester
right.
or cybersecurity engineer or whatever. So if you're out there, if you're kind of new and you're trying to find your first job, I would say focus on companies first and see what they have that you might be a good fit for, and try to get in that way, versus trying to just go get a certain job title.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things that I always talk about, if you guys are looking to get in IT, whether you're looking to get into networking, you're looking to get into cybersecurity, the best place to start is in some type of entry level role. So help desk can be an amazing start to your career, because you're really going to gain a lot of the knowledge of the industry. You're going to gain a lot of knowledge about technologies in general. And if you're leaning towards security, even in a help desk role, you're going to have help handle some security related type of issues, or just gain more knowledge about whatever type of secure um, terminology is being used within that environment, or whatever security practices are being used in that environment as well. You get everything thrown at you. So you don't have to set your sights all the way to that top level right away. Set your sights at something that's attainable, that's reachable, and use that experience as that stepping stone to get to where you want to be.
Absolutely. No, that's very sound advice, and I mean, I've even seen people in the industry with just like a year's experience, like, I'm going to go for a CISO next. It's like, well, let's get a few more years,
Yeah.
under your belt before you go into that type of role. Going back to the help desk thing, I just have to ask Zach, because I had this experience back when I worked help desk many, many years ago. We won't talk about how long ago that was, but have you ever had a user call you, hey, my computer's not working, I can't figure it out, and the reality is they just didn't turn it on? Have you ever had that experience, Zach?
There's one time when I was working for a school district that happened. Um, they kept trying to turn it on. They're like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, all right, is it plugged in? They're like, oh yeah, it's plugged in. Well, there's a laptop sitting on top of a cart, like a mobile cart, and the laptop was indeed plugged into the cart, but the cart was not plugged into the wall. So, like, well, it's the easiest
Well,
fix of the day.
yes, yes. Just tell them, hey, it's going to take me about 3 hours to fix that. Why don't you go to lunch and
Yeah, right.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
they felt pretty embarrassed after that. It's like, well, that's all right. I mean,
Yes, yes.
things happen. It's okay. Somebody asked here, is it realistic to pursue a career in cybersecurity without a degree in the field?
Yes. Yeah. I actually know several people in the industry that don't have a degree. I know some people that don't even have a degree or certification. So it's just one of those industries where, the traditional trifecta may not even apply. Sometimes it's just a matter of you networking with the right
Yeah,
people and mentioning like, hey, I'm learning these skills, right? I'm learning Splunk. I'm kind of, I've got my end user certification or whatever, and I'm still learning Splunk. I'm just trying to find my first role. And because you mentioned that and you talk to some people at a conference, they might lead to a week later, you get a phone call saying, hey, hey, this job just opened up that's kind of entry level. Are you interested? And, I know you kind of mentioned you were, and then all of a sudden you're working in your first role. So, again, going back, networking is probably the biggest thing in the industry. It's a pretty close knit family, which I think is one of the challenges, Zach, that people face when they're trying to get in is that, not saying that we're like, hey, stay out, but it's really just, you just have to go build those relationships first and then make the ask of, can you help me out? Versus, unfortunately, a lot of times I just get a direct message like, give me a job. And it's
yeah,
like, what are you doing? Like, are you doing anything to contribute to the industry? Are you learning? What are you doing right now? I'm not doing anything. Just give me a job. Well, that's not going to happen.
yeah, no,
And I will be that bearer of bad news a lot of times. So.
right. And to go off that question a little bit, one of the stories that I've talked about numerous times, I was at InfoSec World a couple of years ago, and I was with a group of people, and they were telling the story about somebody who's in the cybersecurity field now was a fisherman. He got out on the sea. He was a fisherman by trade. Like that's what he did all day. And there was a piece of equipment that he used that was like sonar related, right? For finding fish and all that. And he found something wrong with like the software that was utilizing the hardware, right? And he was looking into it, and he found some exploits that ultimately were wrong with the software there, and he started to learn how to code. And based off of this exploit that he found, based off of whatever was wrong with the software, I can't exactly tell you the story, word by word, but what I'm getting at it here is here's a fisherman who found something wrong with something, and then he learned how he could fix that or remedy it or just look into it further. And now he's not a fisherman any longer. Now he works in cybersecurity field. And
Nice.
you hear about different stories like that, not exactly like that, but people who are just from all walks of life who get into this field, who get into the cybersecurity field, just by chance, right? Just because they were interested in learning something more, or they found a weakness, an exploit within something, a vulnerability, and they wanted to learn more about it, and then they ultimately just kind of transition. There's no set in stone way to
Right.
enter the IT field, and furthermore, there's no set in stone way to enter the cybersecurity field. Everybody has a different journey. Everybody's path is completely different. So going to what you're saying about networking, that's going to be so huge from now until the time you get into the field. Networking with the right people, or just networking with as many people in the field as you can, and putting yourself out there in a way that people can recognize, that people understand what it is that you're trying to do, and contributing to the field, contributing in any
Mhm.
way that you can, so that you get noticed as somebody who is trying to help, who's trying to make a difference. Those are, I think, some key things that you guys should be looking out for or doing.
No, absolutely. And kind of piggybacking off the contribution aspect of it, I say one of the biggest things I like to tell people is work on your branding. So if you're trying to get jobs, then you should be, like Zach, having a YouTube channel where you just show yourself or just record your screen showing something that you're doing. Maybe it's something in Splunk, teaching people how to use Splunk or something, teaching people how to, use Kali Linux, run a quick Nmap scan. I mean, it doesn't matter what level you think you're at, because if you know how to do it, there's somebody else out there that doesn't, right? And you might be the person that they can actually learn from because of your teaching style or whatever. So I always encourage people, like, just put yourself out there. It's scary at first, I mean, Zach used to tell me I was terrible in my courses at first, and now finally won him over. Same thing with his YouTube channel. I said, this is the worst YouTube channel I've ever seen in my
Still
life.
is.
Still is, but we're getting there. By the way, share this with your friends so he can get over 100,000 subscribers. I'm looking at your page right now.
Thanks for looking out.
So we need to get him over 100,000 just so I can stop talking trash about his YouTube channel. Once he hits 100,000, he's officially made it.
Once I hit
And
100,000, you'll find something else to talk
I will.
trash to
I
me
will.
about.
Yeah, we have to change it up a little bit. But yeah, kind of going back to the whole branding aspect of it. Just we've talked about networking, we've talked about meetups, we've talked about conferences, getting yourself out there like that. Put videos online, whether it's, YouTube, whether it's, creating courses on Cyber, if you've got, a certain skill set or whatever, whether it's just helping out with different projects. So whether, you're helping out like Cyber or other, volunteer things out there, it's really just showing that you really want this is essentially what I'm trying to say here. And if you really want it, then people are more apt to actually help you versus you just trying to beg for a job from somebody. That doesn't work. Like nobody really likes a beggar, but if you're contributing in some way, people are willing to help you. They're willing to go above and beyond. People will review your resume for free. People will give you suggestions. People will get you in front of certain people and get that interview going for you when you're contributing yourself. So definitely if you're out there listening, you can't sit on the couch eating a bag of potato chips and hope that the dream cybersecurity job is going to chase you down. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. We all wish it does, but it doesn't. And so you just need to get out there, put yourself out there, and really, get out of your shell and really try to contribute to the industry. And then from there, it gets so much easier to get your job.
Yeah, I'd imagine you get that a lot. People asking you for jobs and things like that. Or
yeah, that's Zach guy all the time, man. All the time.
Probably.
Zach Hill guy. Yeah, and probably the biggest things I get asked about are, I want to be a pen tester. What should I do? Well, number one, you shouldn't try to be a pen tester, as I mentioned before, right off the bat. I think, you may be good on your skills, but I think you do a disservice to the industry itself if you haven't gotten that foundation of different aspects and actually worked out there and seen certain things.
Yep.
And whether that's in an actual cybersecurity role or just like, over in IT, kind of getting some network security or whatever, or as you mentioned, help desk, kind of getting in the day-to-day of security and how it applies across an organization. I think if you're not doing that and you're just like, well, I practice Nmap, I've practiced, Kali Linux, I can crack a password like the best of them. And another, kind of dream crusher real quick. As a pen tester, a lot of times courses will walk you through sort of the fundamentals. Like even my course on basic ethical hacking will walk you through the fundamental stuff. But the reality is you need to start thinking on scale, because when you get out there in the real world as a pen tester, they're going to say, oh yeah, here's, 50,000 systems to test and you got 3 days. And now doing like a quick Nmap scanner, like some of the tools you might be practicing out there may not be applicable. You might have to find something else. You might have to write your own tool that can do these things, on a quicker scale. So it's not so cut and dry that a lot of, maybe educational programs out there might make it to be out there, so definitely just keep that with a grain of salt. Like it's really good to get that entry level stuff like Zach was saying and kind of build yourself up. And then you could see the real world of things and then focus on which way you really want to go.
Yeah, I think there's many foundations to be learned about IT as a whole before you even consider cybersecurity as the path you want to go down. Especially, if you're looking at being a pen tester, I could think of, many things I think that are fundamentals that you should just have down before you even say, okay, yeah, pen tester is the way I want to go. That's even things like the A plus, the Net plus, Security plus, right? Those are all foundational. I guess I want to say tools, skills, whatever. It's just foundational knowledge that you can have under your belt that can just help you down that path, if you will. Somebody keeps asking about the red team. I don't know what he wants you to say about the red team. What do you want to know about the red team?
Red teams are beautiful.
I like red. Red's a good color.
Yeah, red team, blue team, purple. We actually have a course that just launched on Cyber called Red Team Guide. So I'll actually kind of direct that person there. That might actually answer some of your questions. I'm guessing the question is probably related to like what's the day-to-day, or what's kind of the best way to build a red team. And I actually think that course answers all those questions. So that'll be when I kick over to that course.
I'll link to that right here in the chat.
Cool.
I'm gonna create a bit.ly link here real quick.
All right. We swear the link is non-malicious. We swear this link is non-malicious for right now.
I mean, I don't know what happens from the time I create it, copy it, paste it, and you click it.
Exactly.
Team Cyber. Let's see if that works. Copy.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely check that out. We've had some recent courses, so definitely check out the Cyber YouTube channel. We do the week in review thing where we kind of talk about some of the courses that have recently launched on the site. So it's definitely a place I suggest people check out. I believe Red Team either launched late last week or early this week. That's why it may not be in those videos yet. But definitely a course you should check out if you have questions about either red teaming or just kind of like the generalized pen testing.
Awesome. Is there such thing as freelance pen testing? There is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
oh yeah, yeah,
a few
yeah,
people who do
yeah.
that.
Just check my LinkedIn inbox. I get all sorts of people asking me, "Hey, can you test my kid's website?" I'm like, "No, it's liability involved. All these other things that you don't think about." But yeah, no, to answer it, yeah, there's definitely a lot of freelance opportunities out there. Just be mindful that a lot of organizations may be lowballing you on price points. So just kind of before you start doing freelancing stuff. Figure out the actual pricing structures that normal pen testers are getting paid as consultants, and
five hundred
then from
dollars an
there,
hour, right? 500 bucks an hour. That's what
I,
I
I,
want.
I would charge you $2 million an hour.
Well, fine, so be it.
Yeah,
It's Fabian saying, "What's a good job to get your foot in the door while getting cybersecurity certs? And anything entry level, anything,
yeah, yeah,
anything to
yeah.
get your foot in the door in IT. Period."
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it could be IT, it could be getting a kind of an analyst type of role or something like that. Entry level. Could be just working as a technical writer. And then you're working on your certs at that time, and you're kind of writing about the things you're learning, and then from there you talk to your boss or you talk to the head of security for that company, or you talk to their competitors, head of security, and see what kind of things they have for you at that point. So yeah, there's no real limitation. Just basically try to get your foot in the door to something that you'll be touching security in some capacity
on. Awesome. Somebody's asking about Blue Team now, and I was seeing if there was a Blue Team page that you guys had.
We do have
But it looks like it's
we have a security operations center course. That's more so about how to kind of build out your SOC, but I think that information would be valuable to somebody kind of looking to see if that type of the world is what they might want to go into. Also, the Intro to Seams Tools course by Gabby. That's another good one to just kind of take a foundational, high-level look at being a SOC analyst.
you guys actually have an article breaking into cybersecurity field.
Oh yeah. Tons of articles. I said just go to cybery.it. That actually would probably answer most of the questions you probably get in the chat when we have these, Zach.
Yeah, there's a link in the description too that people can use for that.
Nice.
There you go. Here's another link for you guys.
All right.
You guys can't find Ken Underhill on LinkedIn? Just look for Ken Underhill, LinkedIn.
So you have to be logged in to find me. So if you're not logged into LinkedIn, if you're trying to be nefarious, it's not going to work. So you do have to be logged in to find me.
Well, there you go. There's your answer. Yes. What do you think about the future about cloud pen testing? What?
Yeah, I mean, it's already happening. I guess the question would be more so of like, hey, are people pen testing in the cloud, or are you thinking of more of like using machine learning or AI to do pen testing? And both are actually occurring right now. Like I've done practice stuff inside of Amazon's cloud because they allow you to pen test like some your virtual machines that you gen up and stuff. So
that's awesome.
So if that's kind of your routes you're looking at, that might be a way to do it. Just be mindful of cost when you're using a cloud provider to practice stuff like that. Just be mindful that you probably just want to tear down the machine just shortly after you get them up and practice stuff. By the way, we do have. I just keep plugging away with cyber stuff, but
you're all good.
we do have Cloud Labs. We're integrating, so just be mindful of that as well. If you're an Insider Pro member, or if your company has a membership for you, you'll be seeing a lot more labs coming in the catalog related to cloud. We also have several courses out, AWS courses as well as Microsoft Azure, some of the fundamental stuff on cloud. So definitely check that stuff out as well. Especially if you decide like, hey, I want to be a pen tester and doing the cloud stuff, you definitely need a foundation like we've been talking about pretty much this whole session here.
Awesome. I was getting people a link to your LinkedIn.
Nice.
So they can add you and harass you over there and ask you all of the questions.
Perfect.
So yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk to you about what we're doing with Black Hat this year. We'll both be there, which I'm super excited about. I can't wait to meet up with you there. hopefully do a video with you and some other members of the team at Cyberary. Um, this year I'm personally looking to attend some more sessions because I really didn't get a chance to last year. It was the whole experience for me was very overwhelming. Um, just being in Las Vegas for the first time and then trying to attend the Black Hat conference and do everything that I needed to do. Very overwhelming. But this year I definitely want to attend some more sessions and just get some more knowledge, I think, out of what's going on in the field, and then, of course, network with people also.
Nice.
Should be fun. I'm super excited about it. I know that they have like a career center over there at Black Hat, and I'm looking forward to checking that out and getting some information on that.
Nice.
Hopefully, I can get an interview with somebody or some people over there at the career center area at Black Hat, so we can share more advice to you guys on who are looking to break into the cybersecurity field. Should be a good time.
Yeah, and also just kind of jumping off that as well, on the Black Hat USA site, they've also got a link for companies with like job listings. So if you're looking for a job, check that out as well. You should see a link to it on the main page there. Yeah, just check that out, and that's another source as well if you're looking for jobs right now.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, I don't know. You got anything else you want to add? How much time you got?
Just a few more minutes, and then I have to hop off for something else.
Sure.
Only other thing is I have a surprise that I think I will have with me at Black Cat. So so track me down. There's a limited length that this particular thing will, and I'll fill Zach in so he knows what the surprise is. But there's a limited amount that this will last. We'll just say it like that. There's a limited amount that this particular thing will last. So definitely try to get connected with me at the conference, and you'll see that. What I'll do probably this weekend before I fly out for the conference, I'll do a LinkedIn post so look for that, and I'll share more details on what the super secret thing is I'm talking about right now. So so definitely track down on LinkedIn and keep an eye out for that post.
Awesome. That sounds exciting.
All
I'm
right.
intrigued. Somebody asked me if I'm allowed to live stream from Black Hat, and I could live stream from Black Hat. Do I really want to though? No. I'm gonna
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
have my phone off the whole time.
Yeah, we kind of know where we're going, Zach and I. So may not be the best place to put our personal devices on the wireless network there.
Yeah, no.
However, I've seen some shady ones at conferences, like hey, this is legit. Don't worry, stuff like that. So if I see something like that, it might be good to connect you. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. All right. Well, man, I appreciate you being on and talking with us today and just talking about what we're doing on our road to Black Hat. So I look forward to seeing you there, and we'll get you on again.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. Have a good one. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, guys.